The Ukrainian nuclear power plant in Zaporizhia, under Russian army control since March 4, 2022, has become an atomic ghost that keeps specialists alert and busy, such as Rafael Grossi, Director General of the International Atomic Energy Agency, an agency that depends on the United Nations. The fear that long-range missiles, loaded with 800 kilograms of explosives, will explode over one of the 6 reactors and cause a nuclear material leak remains a possibility. The catastrophe of the Chernobyl nuclear power plant, which was also located in Ukraine in 1986, is still a drama in all of Eastern Europe. In fact, the incident, to a greater or lesser degree, affected 3/4 of Europe. Chernobyl and the Zaporizhia nuclear power plants were built almost at the same time, with reactors from the Soviet era. However, the latter has a physical containment above each reactor. This is the gray and red dome on top of each nuclear reactor. Nevertheless, the possibility of a failure in nuclear power plants continues to hover over the world. In addition to Chernobyl, there is the precedent of Fukushima. For this reason, the Russian threat to the Ukrainian Zaporizhia power plant is a real danger. Incidents such as those of Chernobyl and Fukushima can generate the existence of elements as terrifying as the elephant's foot. Considered the most dangerous object on Earth, just 5 minutes beside it can end a person's life in 2 days. What is the radioactive elephant's foot? It is a 2-meter-wide piece of solidified lava formed from the melted core of the Chernobyl nuclear reactor, emitting radiation equivalent to 4.5 million X-rays. Due to the intense radiation that it emits, there are only a few photos of this object. Even now, almost 40 years after the accident, entering that room could be deadly, and scientists believe that the threat could persist for centuries. The danger is so great that in 2020, Reactor 4 was encased with a new sarcophagus. The inauguration was carried out by the new Ukrainian president, Volodymyr Zelensky. In the Chernobyl accident in April 1986, the reactor heated up so much that the steel and concrete used to protect the core melted and formed radioactive lava. As it made its way through the pipes and concrete of Reactor 4, the material collected additional components, changing and transforming into a complex mixture of radioactive chemicals. When this mixture of sand, concrete, and nuclear fuel finally cooled, it solidified, forming a new material called corium. A mass of corium, which fell into the steam corridor beneath the reactor, became known as elephant's foot. In 1986, the elephant's foot emitted 10,000 roentgens, a measure of radiation, per hour, around 1,000 times the dose needed to cause cancer. To put it into context, an hour of radiation at that level would be equivalent to having 4.5 million chest X-rays. With 30 seconds of exposure, after 1 week, humans would suffer dizziness, fatigue, vomiting, bleeding, fever, and death. When the cleanup crew, called liquidators, arrived, they found that the elephant's foot was still too radioactive to approach. Since corium is so rare, having only occurred 5 times in history, no one is sure how the elephant's foot will change over time. While nuclear material is slowly cooling, it is likely to remain dangerous for many decades. This is one of the fears of specialists such as Rafael Grossi and other nuclear experts around the world who are anxiously following the alternatives to the war between Russia and Ukraine at the gates of the largest nuclear power plant in Europe.